As one chapter closes on one season, a new chapter begins for SVT Renegade Racing. Tonight, the Gen 6 cars have a brand new season, and it all kicks off at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, round number 1 of the 12-race season. Well, we're so glad you could join us on Slide Job Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you. Before we go racing, want to give big congratulations to Ryan Blaney on winning his first NASCAR Cup Series championship. What a way to get it done after these past few weeks for him. But we're set to go to begin a brand new season of SVT Racing on a new home, that of course, the Slide Job Racing Network. Qualifying underway for round number 1. Let's pull up the times here at the moment as it's Jimmy Pylan. That's currently the quickest at a 48.8. Mark Morton goes quickest now at a 48.72. Then Greg Jolly goes to the top at a 48.67. Let's pull up some of these drivers. You see qualifying drivers on the bottom of your screen and how their times are going. We'll begin here with the driver of the number 52. That's Richard Hartman III as he makes his way off of turn number 4. As Hartman completes lap number 2, who moves their way up to the top this time as all the laps start to improve with everybody staying on the bottom. Hartman goes to 3rd, 48.76. Check on some other guys here. Let's go to Morton off of turn number 4, hugging the yellow line. And coming to the stripe, Morton stays 2nd. Second lap for Greg Jolly, off by a couple tenths of a second. Let's go to Jeff Scott, who's 6th quick in the number 28. As he comes across the start-finish line, puts his lap up. Is he better on lap number 2? He is, and goes 4th quick at a 48.77. Just under 90 seconds left here in qualifying. We've had 15 drivers take a lap. The car count is set at over 20, so it's a great car count we have this evening. Jeff Scott moves up to 4th quick. Bradley Worley goes 3rd quick at a 48.74. Dalton Steele goes 2nd quick at a 48.70. James Wagner comes across the line in car number 30, and he clocks in 2nd at a 48.69. Paul Helms across the start-finish line, and he improves to 7th quick, 48.77. Nice lap for him. Matthew Barker across the start-finish line, 48.75, and he works on his final lap. Al Reed goes 5th at a 48.73. These are your final 2 qualifiers. The ace, Matthew Barker, in car number 96, and Al Reed in the number 3. Daytona International Speedway, 31-degree racetrack, 18 degrees in the tri-oval, and 3 degrees on the backstretch. Always fun pack racing. Whenever it comes to whatever car it is, it's a lot of fun. So Barker makes his way off of turn 4. He was slower in Sector 1. Is he better in Sector 2, though, is the question. The second half of the lap, he's in the purple, so that lap is off. He stays 7th quick, and Al Reed pulls it off the track. So Greg Jolly starts on pole position for our season opening race of the year at Daytona. And as we get set to go racing, let's meet the field and give you your starting lineup. On the pole position, Greg Jolly, he's in car number 13. Next to him, it's James Wagner in the number 30. Row number 2, Dalton Steele in the 45. Next to him, it's Mark Morton in the 48. Row 3, Al Reed, he's in car number 3. Next to him, it's Bradley Worley in the 88. Row number 4, Matthew Barker in the number 96. The ace is next to Richard Hartman in car number 52. Rounding out the top 10, it's Paul Helms in the number 64. Next to him is Jeff Scott in car number 28. Row number 6, it's Matt Benke in the number 36, and next to him, it's Brianna Lawrence. She's in car number 7. Row 7, it's Jimmy Pylan in the number 29. Next to him, Johnny Hurst in the 58. And rounding out row number 8, Chris Ramsey in the 4, and Larry Fairman in the number 99. Running out the field, you have the 338 of Lewis Russi, the 23 of Riley Gomes, row number 10, rounding out the top 20, Paul Walters in the 515, Ryan Gomes in the number 22, and starting from the tail end tonight is Tim Richardson. He's in car number 2. Just waiting on the number 515 of Walters to grid up. Then we'll be set to move the field off as we get set to go racing here at the World Center of Racing. I haven't covered the next gen car. Oh, sorry, the Gen 6 cars in a while on Slide Job Racing Network. Last time we did a Gen 6 race, I believe it was back at the time before we had the next gen cars, and it was all single file racing. But now we move on to this. Of course, a couple patches in, we have not seen the Gen 6 cars race in a while at Daytona. Of course, at one point, it put on some of the craziest pack racing iRacing had to offer, from constant 2 and 3 wide racing. What will we see here tonight is the question. Let's give you your race format for this evening. 100 laps, 250 miles. Field window is set at 48 laps, so this is a two-stop race that the drivers will have to go through. 5 sets of tires the drivers have, and of course for this super speedway race, 2 quick repairs if needed. As the field of 20 will roll their way off, Paul Walcher says he will not be on the racetrack as he'll be admitting this race. Let us know as well in the chat who you're rooting for. A great view count already, and we haven't taken the green flag yet. 16 viewers. Thank you all so much for joining us on the Slide Job Racing Network. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And also hit that notification button every time we are live. We're live tomorrow night with Coast to Coast Racing League Monday Night Madness for their sprint cars. Off on Tuesday nights. Wednesday nights we don't have anything going on. Thursday nights we sometimes do the Coast to Coast Racing League Next Gen Series. And then on Friday night is on and off every other week, the Hillbilly Racing League that just started. Field getting set to go here in turn number 3. Who will be the opening winner of the season? That is the question. Field makes the way off of turn number 4 and in the hands of Barney the Flagman. Greg Jolly, James Wagoner on the front row. A Chevy and a Ford, then a Toyota Dalton Seal. That starts from the 3rd position. Pace car is in. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? A new season of SVT action. It's showtime at the World Center of Racing. Low line with the advantage early. Greg Jolly commanding the field at the point with Dalton Steele second. Reed and Barker door-to-door for the 3rd spot. But again, the low line taking shape here early as the field makes their way into turn number 3. 2 by 2 the field goals with a couple of stragglers in the back. They are the Gomes brothers. We already have one up in the wall. It's the Carvana number 36, I believe, of Matt Benke. Able to keep the car going, but he falls to the back of the pack. Started in the 11th position, so didn't really lose too much ground as Benke falls back to the 16th spot. But low line is the place to be early with the front 4 all single file. Right now, with this being a long 100-lap race, it's pretty much a race of how early can you get to the bottom here and just play the game of patience. Gen 6 cars as well on super speedways. They love to side draft. They love to push as well. The more you push, the more you side draft, you get a big factor. Barker edges out at the line for the 3rd spot. Gotta want to try and be careful here as you ride on board with Matthew Barker, the ace in car number 96. Got a good run coming down the back chute. I believe that push is coming from, let's see who that is. At the 3rd car, the outside line, that's the 48 of Mark Morton. in that Lowe's ride. And Barker has a run. He's able to put the 96 out in front of Greg Jolly. A nice move from Barker, who started in the 7th position. And Wagner able to cut down low, so those two drivers working together. We've got one already on the pits. It's Tim Richardson, who went through the grass. I would assume so. The North Wilkesboro native started in the last spot, decided to move up to the field. He now runs in 16th spot. Seven rows of 2x2 action. Really, when it comes to this Gen 6 line, it's how close can you be bunched up and how straight can you keep the race car. If you're going back and forth, you can lose a bunch of momentum, as the 330 of Lewis Russi has made its way up to 4th spot. The high side able to cut down low with Richard Hartman in the number 52, moves up to the 3rd position. Jeffrey Ledford rooting for Wagner, who has lost a lot of ground in the 6th position. And there is a big gap between him and the 96. May have been laying off the throttle just a bit. Wants to see if he can get that huge toe. Also give me practice at the same time, because late in the race, when we get to the final laps of these races, if there's a situation where the leaders are single file, expect some drivers trying to lay back off of turn 2 to try and get a huge run down the Daytona Superstretch. As Mark Morton now has the number 48 out in front, has the 88 behind him, and Bradley Worley, who started in the 6th position. We do have a couple of teammates in this one. The VRX team, Wagner, as well as, I believe, there is one of the Jeffs in here. I believe Jeff Scott, then Jimmy Pylan, Matt Barker, Tim Richardson, all in a chat. Al Reed and Mark Morton, a part of the Roughneck Racing chat. We have 2 other drivers, 4 other drivers and 2 teams. We'll talk about throughout that. Let's ride on board here with Bradley Worley in the number 88. See the top speed, 197 down the super stretch, and gives that 48 the huge push. And the top speed, we have seen a lot of drivers go, if you're in the front of the field, 203, but at some points, like the 58 of Johnny Hurst, he's maxed out at 211. Of course, when you're under the lights here at Daytona, the speeds will go up because the track temperature is a whole lot cooler. A couple of other drivers have decided to fade to the back of the pack. 3.5 seconds behind Matt Benke in that Carvana ride. You have the Gomes brothers, Riley Gomes and Ryan Gomes. Brianna Laurent has decided to tear along with the Gomes relatives. And so they ride in 17th, 18th, and 19th. But still the 48 and 88, 1 and 2. Parker rides in the 3rd spot, Hartman in 4th. Biggest mover early in this one is up 8 spots. In the back of the pack, it's that number 2 of Tim Richardson in a Michael Myers paint scheme. Guys, just saying, Halloween ended a couple days ago. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're a big Halloween fan? Put Halloween on the race car. So, Hartman and Barker currently door-to-door for that 3rd position, as the ace trying to rebound and make his way back up to the front in that Ford Mustang. See what Barker can do in that roughneck ride with the push coming from Wagner in the 30. Reed still there, 4th driver down low in the 4th position, make that the 5th position. Johnny Hurst in the Mobile 158 ride currently rides along in 7th. Now make it 6th if he can get past the 30 at the line, which he does. But with a long race like this, though, at Daytona, as I mentioned, the big name of the game is patience. Yes, you have 2 quick repairers in this race. At the same time, though, you want to try and save those quick repairers until the end of the race, because that's when the aggression goes up and you definitely see those late race wrecks. So you want to be patient. Don't be making some bold, aggressive moves early. If you feel uncomfortable, move your way to the back of the pack if you feel like you're at risk of getting in a wreck. My strategy has always been in the past at Daytona, if there's a situation where I'm not a big fan of the pack, or if it's a really long race, take like the NASCAR iRacing series, the official series on iRacing. That's a 200-lap race in the Daytona 500. I'll always hang out at the back of the pack because there's no stage points on the line. And then it's the final laps of the race. That's when I start to make my way up through the field. And also at the same time, hopefully a bunch of drivers are gone or out of the race. There's a big risk, though, that the drivers take at the same time if you want to hang out at the back of the pack. The big one. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We'll see it in the race tonight, that's for sure. The big question here is, where do you want to be? You're hoping, obviously, to be in front of the big one. You don't want to be in the big one. If you're behind it, you have to try and avoid it. That's the situation that every driver in this field goes through. It's the top 15 drivers currently all within one pack. Matt Benke has decided to drop to the back of the field, and same with Jeff Scott. Scott is not a lap down. I'm checking to see if something happened between the two that led to that situation that we may have possibly missed. We've got 3 wide, though, for the race lead. Reed caught up in the middle, and Morton by himself up top. And now Reed is in that sucker hole. You don't want to be in the sucker hole, because if you do, oh, there goes Reed to the wall. And here we go. Big one already breaking out at Daytona. Wagoner is involved. Fairman without the front bumper. A whole bunch of them all clustered up here. First yellow flag waves of the World Center of Racing. Now, I think we may have found something to show you what may have happened with Jeff Scott. I think he decided to move to the back of the field. If not, he must have gotten loose in the grass here in the tri-oval. He may have found a way to save it. Let's take a look here. Scott's in the 28. Top of your screen. I think this was at the start of the race, I believe. Yeah, I think the 38 already caught the wall. Oh, he was blinking. That was the situation. I forgot about that. Scott had blinked out. So. All right, let's look at what caused the yellow flag here. So obviously we know there was a lot of jockeying, a lot of 3 wide situation. Reed comes up and gets into, I think that's the 96. And then it all clustered up further back. See the 2, the 45 involved. Hard lick from the Mobile 145. So I have the 4. That gets a piece of it in Chris Ramsey. I think we've got a real-time shot of this. Let's take a look. Yeah, 96 clipped the 3, and if you were on the outside, pretty much nowhere to go. 29 suffered some damage, but didn't get too much of it. Watch some other angles in just a moment, but everybody on pit road either repairing some damage or taking some fuel and pulling off out of the pits, and you see it there with the 48. Fueling probably, I believe, 2 tires, and away he goes. A lot of tires the drivers can use. 5 additional sets coming in. Hurst came out second, Dalton Steele third, Bradley Worley fourth, Richard Hartman round out the top 5. As I mentioned, a lot of drivers having to go through a quick repair early in this race. All right, we wanted to take a look at some additional angles of that accident. We have a speed shot here that can give us a good idea of what happened. Wow. That was something. Let's go on board here with Al Reed. Oh. He was in the clutch or something. That was so weird now listening on board with that. That was odd. Either that or he accidentally hit the button to downshift and it just checked everybody up. Let's go to Wagoner. He had the wreck missed and then they all came down on him. see what Dalton Steele can give us. He was already wrecking. A lot of damage on that huge spoiler. So lights are off already after the first caution of this race, and with that being said, we are just about ready to come back to the green flag. We mentioned, of course, Monday nights we broadcast the Coast to Coast Racing League. Tomorrow night, another edition of Monday Night Madness with the Rebel and Renegade 360 Sprint Cars at Williams Grove Speedway. Make sure you join us 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on the Slide Job Racing Network. Jeffrey Ledford rooting for James Wagner, who just had to use a quick repair, and Audie Cree is bummed over that first caution coming out that flew just past lap number 10. We are set to come back to the green. Let's reset the field here for you. Mark Morton and Johnny Hurst make up row number 1. Dalton Steele and Bradley Worley in row 2. Richard Hartman and Paul Helms on row number 3. Larry Fairman next to him, the 13 of Greg Jolly in row 4. And rounding out the top 10 is the 29 of Jimmy Pilot and the 338 of Lewis Russi. So top 3 taking 2 tires in that situation. Everybody else wanted 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Luckily gave the opportunity for all the drivers to come in for their first stop of the day. Remember, this is at least a 2-stop race. So as we're set to come back to the green. Believe in the hands of Mark Morton this time. But he goes when the green flag goes, just out of respect here with it being a super speedway as we're back to racing. Advantage of that 48. Remember, it takes about 2 laps or so for that high side to come in. So the low line is really your best friend, especially with it being this long of a race. When you get late in the race, you could take advantage and go to the outside, but that high side starts to come in pretty well off of turn 2. Pretty impressed by that as the Toyotas go to the front. Dalton Steele and Johnny Hurst. I think everyone wants to say, hey, let's get 2 pages. Oh, trouble further back. Al Reed is around. 1 car gets on 2 wheels. That was Ryan Gomes as we're under the second caution here at Daytona. Gomes got up on 2 wheels. Hopefully the car is okay. There's some right side damage and some front damage on the Caterpillar Chevrolet. But Al Reed with another incident. Tough break for the Irishman. And let's take an opportunity to show you what happened. Oh, contact with the 7 of Lauren. 22 went for an interesting ride. Let's get another angle of that. Oh, so the 80, so I may have been concerned about the 28 coming up the racetrack. And then that broke out. Let's give you an onboard with Al. Just trying to dodge some bullets. Just trying to get up to speed and try and catch that back of the pack a little bit too early. Only big issue is Reed does not want to use his second quick repair, so he'll have to stay on track with the damaged spoiler. So while we're at it, under the first caution flag, we'll step aside here with Dalton Steele out in front. Stay with us here. It's SVT Renegade Gen 6 Racing here on the Slide Job Racing Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
We start with fresh, never frozen ground beef, follow it with our homemade meat hot sauce, and finish it with your choice of toppings, always made to order. Our world's greatest cheeseburgers will make you say,
Gimme, 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 feel great.
Hi, my name is Henry, and I want to welcome you to Batavia Downs Gaming. We want you to love it, not just like it here. We went to our customers and asked them what we can do better. You said you wanted a hotel, so we built one. More and better food, we did that too. A separate place to smoke and play, we even did that. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel is the right size with the right people in the right location. Batavia Downs Gaming, come here to dine, stay, and play.
Just about ready to wrap up the second caution here at Daytona International Speedway, and so we're just about ready to come back to green. All 20 drivers still on the racetrack and on the lead lap. Only 2 drivers pitting under that stint. Actually, check that, 4 drivers pitting under that stint. Riley Gomes, Al Reed, Brianna Lauren, and Ryan Gomes. Of course, Gomes decided not to use a quick repair as he spent a minute and 23 seconds on pit road. Al Reed came in for a 27-second pit stop, so we would assume that he did not use a quick repair, try to repair as much as he could after that second caution. On Brianna Lauren, I think the same thing, she decided to do the same thing too, and not use a quick repair in this situation. So coming back to green flag this time, Toyota's on the front row, Dalton Steele and Johnny Hurst. Then a Chevrolet second row, Bradley Worley and Paul Helms. A Chevrolet third row, Greg Jolly and Mark Morton. Then on row number 4, you have another Chevy row of Richard Hartman and Mark Morton. Rounding out the top 10, 29 of Jimmy Pilon, the 99 of Larry Fairman. So you check that. 48's in the outside row number 3, 52, 29 row 4. Then the 99 and 30 rounding out the top 10 from the sounds of 29.99, correction. I think maybe having some issues with somebody at the front of the field as we are set to come back to green. Put lap 18 up on the boards. Here we go. So the Toyotas immediately go to work with each other in Steele and Hurst. Paul Helms moves up to the 3rd position, and now the front 3 drop down low and ditch Mark Morton. Now, if we get late in the race and have a late race restart, like say like under about 20 laps to go or under, and say somebody gets ditched like the 48 just went through, and oh, he just got put sideways by the 99. What a save by Mark Morton. Oh my, that could have been disastrous there. 3 wide, just way too early here, guys. Take it easy, folks. We've got a long race left to go here as we work lap number 20 of 100. Morton may remember that. If He's raced the 45, 58, 64 for a win. He may remember that down the road. As we focus our eyes up on the front of the field, got the front 6 drivers, maybe even front 7 drivers single file, and Hurst trying to push the 45. Tandeming can be possible at points, obviously with all the pushing that you have with the Gen 6 cars, but obviously you don't want to push too much because you don't want to cook that engine temperature and blow your motor. I've been a victim of that before. Learned that 3 laps into a race and blew the motor up pretty good. Trying to work with a good friend. Jimmy Rowdy with some company to his outside. Lewis Russi in that 7th position. And up the track went Rowdy for a half a groove, and Russi looks for a run on Hartman, the 3rd for P6. Noma TV counting it, giving his take in the chat, saying cautions breed cautions. We'll see what happens here. 2 cautions so far in this race. So the 45, 58, 64, 88 staying patient for right now. Russi wants to make his way towards the front. Let's go on board here with the number 30 of James Wagner. Top speed in the corner, 196 he went. And dropped down to let off the throttle about 192. That's a good advantage of letting off. It can kind of be a good thing on these super speeds. Yes, you lose some progress. At the same time, if it comes down to it, you can save some fuel a little bit while the leader has to go wide out, wide open, and all out full throttle. A lot of the field has moved their way up throughout the field. See if Helms can get this push. We haven't seen what it's been like from behind the driver. We'll show you this in just a moment with Dalton Steele, but let's run on board with Johnny Hurst in the Mobile 1 car. There you see what it looks like from the rear view mirror of the 45. Obviously a different angle than what he actually sees in the rear view mirror. Can be interesting at points. So again, that 338 now maybe starting to lose some spots here. It has somebody in front of him to try and possibly get a draft. That's the 29 of Jimmy Pyland. Pyland on the Roughneck Racing team out of the Midwest area. But again, everyone's still chasing the leader, the 45 out in front. Everyone just, again, we've had 2 cautions in this race. We nearly had a 3rd for the 48. I guess with that situation, everyone's been told each other, hey guys, let's calm down. We've got a long way left to go. We're about to go a quarter of the way through, not this time by, but next time by here at Daytona. "17 drivers, all in a pack currently nose to tail. They have Scott in the 28 back up with the leaders after he had his blinking issues. Tim Richardson, and as I say that, Scott's starting to blink once again, and Richardson nearly got forced onto pit road, but he's back up there with the field. He's in the 8th position. A couple other drives. Let's show you drives in the back of the field, just trying to stay patient here. A couple of front runners from earlier on. Barker in the 96, Wagner in the 30. Just sitting around having a good time. Let's pull up their in-car cameras here and show you what it looks like from inside the cockpit. Playing it safe than sorry. If there's a wreck, he can immediately get on the brakes. The best part is nobody behind him that's on his bumper can't see anyone on his rear view mirror. So he's able to keep it patient for right now. High side starting to develop once again. That's Larry Fairman in car number 95. Morton on his tail. Carling separating him, and now a lot more people. Oh, there they go. 29's around. Jimmy Pilen. Everybody stacks up. Bigger problems. Third yellow flag waves. There's the 2. The 28 of Scott. All started here when the 29 of Rowdy got turned into the infield. And to the third yellow waves, and this was from a double file situation this time. Not a single file, a double file situation. Show you replaying what happened here. Pine got a little bit twirly and got turned. Pardon me, got turned off. Wow, the car went airborne. Roof flaps keep it on the ground, which is good to see. I don't even think the car went on pit road, so won't get a penalty from that. But this, my friends, is what causes the caution right here. Watch Wagner in front of him. 2 up on the wall, and same with the Harley Davidson ride. And Richardson gets turned in front of Scott and the 30 of Wagner. Barker also involved with a piece of it. That's right on board here with Tim Richardson. And this is one that he got pummeled from behind. Michael Myers ain't going to be too fond of that. Let's go to Greg Jolly. What a miss he had, and then got into the 2 of Richardson. And trying everything to save it. I don't think he hit anything, though, except for Richardson. So, take a look at the pit road situations here. Nobody has come in yet. You see Rowdy's car with no damage. Oh, hang on, Al Reed. Yikes. So everybody decides, you know what, they're going to come in this time. Nobody decides to stay out here except for maybe Matt Benke. Benke's the only one that stays out and keeps the race late here. Remember, everyone has 1 stop left to go. The field window, 48 laps. The window opens on around lap 42. Race off pit road is won by Paul Helms, Riley Gomes, Bradley Worley. They take fuel only, if not 2 tires. First one on 4 tires is Dalton Steele. Then Richard Hartman, Larry Fairman, Johnny Hers, Chris Ramsey, Al Reed, Lewis Russi. That is the top 10 off of pit road. But your race leader is Matt Benke in the number 36. Step aside and go to break. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
All right, we're set to come back to the green flag. Reset the field here on this restart. Matt Benke, the only driver to stay out under that last caution. He's the leader. The drivers from 2nd through 4th, as well as the driver in 6th, took fuel, if not 2 tires. Everybody else, a majority of the field, took 4 tires. Here we go for this restart. "30 laps down and 70 laps to go here at the World Center of Racing." Man, look at the huge gap between the 23 and the 99. You don't see that often. Paul Helms could have the advantage off at turn 2 unless Gomes and Benke decide to shift their way up the track. They decide to keep it down the bottom. The advantage to the 64 with the push from the 88 of Worley. Could Helms be another new leader in this race? We'll just have to see. Helms to the point at the World Center of Racing, and Worley makes his way up back to P2. That leaves Steele and Benke door-to-door for the 3rd position. Now, Steele is separated from the 58 of Hurst just by about 1 car, actually. The 52 of Hartman separates them. Just have to see what happens. Hartman and Benke race for 4th. And the 88 of Worley all over that tail of the 64. Could get interesting. The field works the way across the start-finish line. $15 drivers all in this pack. Jeff Scott, Tim Richardson, Matt Barker on back. They have decided, you know what, let's just play it safe. Right at the back of the field. See if we get a late race caution, make our way back towards the front. $36 of Benke, though, holding up this low line for the looks of it. Gomes has been trying to give him the push, but just seems like it's not working out too well. But the Fruity Pebbles 23 has a run on the bottom, and that push from behind. Lead from the 99 of Fairman. And that it is, and 2 by 2 here. Benke's now got something working in that Carvana entry. Lost it briefly. But obviously in the corners, the low line's your best friend. On the straights, the high side's the place to be. Don't know if you noticed that 88 of Bradley Worley got a little bit too high on corner exit and nearly lost control of the race car. And now we have 3 wide in the turn number 3 with Russi stuck in the sucker hole once again. And making some contact with 4, pinching Ramsey down to the apron. Ramsey sideways off the corner. Save 3 wide for the end of the race, guys. Goodness gracious. More contact breaks out, and Russi finds a spot in line on the top shelf. Jimmy Pilon nearly in the wall, and run for the 36 low on Hartman. Hartman, actually, I think he may have tried to look downstairs and clear for the 4th position, but Benke was down there. He was on his quarter panel, and he's up to the 3rd spot, and Steele losing spots now in that number 45. Not a spot where he wants to be in right now. 3 drivers single file, Helms, Worley, and Benke. The biggest mover of the race so far is Riley Gomes, up 13 positions. He started in the 18th spot. The second biggest mover, 99, to Larry Fairman, who started from 16th. And there you get a good look at the Peloton pack. There is a notable gap, though, from 14th on back between Jeff Scott and Tim Richardson. Richardson may be losing touch with the pack, but he may be fine with it. We know Barker has lost touch, Pylan's lost touch, and same with Lewis Russi. Got Ryan Gomes, who's up with his front pack after he was involved in the second caution. Remember, that car went in the air. Did not go upside down, and I don't even think he needed a quick repair. I'm not too sure on that. It was a longer pit stop than, just taking a quick repair and 4 tires. So, but has the car back up to full speed and challenging the top 10. The new leader off of turn number 4, Dalton Steele, has found the 45 up to its power. Hartman to the push, and Steele goes to the point here on lap number 38. Working out the way he wants it to work out. Helms underneath for second, and he may take the race lead. A Toyota and a Chevy, 2x2 at speeds of 190 miles an hour as they work their way down the back. The high side, huge head of steam. Hartman's able to cut down low in front of Steele, but look at this, Johnny Hurst. This may be a situation where Steele may go with his teammate. And here comes Al Reed in the 3, who's had a multitude of issues in this race. He's on the podium spot once again. And he splits up the Toyotas again to move up to second. Does Hunt cut down low, though, in front of Steele? We'll wait and see here. Oh, man, Steele has lost a lot of ground. And here comes Morton back up on the top 3. Remember, he nearly got turned around off a contact from the 99 of the restart in turn number 3, but Morton was able to save it, and he's down in the 4th position, but our caution flag is out. 4th one of the day, and Riley Gomes has gone around the 23. Remember, he was near the front of the field. No damage, though, from the looks of it on his ride. Let's take a look at what happened in real time. Hooked off the 99, around he went. A wild ride for him. Luckily, the fielder was going fast. Luckily did not flip the car or suffer damage of any type. It's right on board with Gomes. It's either Gomes or Gomez. You see the hood flaps come off. We'll watch from the rear end as well of Gomes. Let's get a better idea. There's Fairman behind him. I just slightly hooked the quarter panel, sent him around. Also had another driver involved. I think that was Scott in the 28. Now this is a tough situation on lap number 40 here. The fuel window not truly open. Do you come in or what do you do? Lewis Russi, meanwhile, has pulled it in the pits, and he has retired from the race from the looks of it. See if we can get a good idea. He went off the track and then came back on the track. I think he just pulled the car off here. I think he had something going on, so Russi has called it a night here, unfortunately. Now we'll see who decides to come in. Reed and Morton look like they're pitting. Hurst stays out. This is some interesting situations here. A lot of guys came in on lap 28, so Reed and Morton think that this stop could put them to the distance if they just push the clutch in and try to save some fuel. Steele's in, Helms in, Gomez is in. Benke, remember he stayed out. He comes in and pits. So top 5 all stay out here. Reed decides fuel only, and same with Morton. So it's Johnny Hurst that is your new leader. Top 5 decide to stay out. We're going to keep it on here with you and just right on board with a couple of people. Alrighty. So we come back to the green flag here, wrapping up the 4th caution of the day. Johnny Hurst and Greg Jolly, row number 1. Richard Hartman, the 3rd, and Bradley Worley, row number 2. Brianna Lawrence is the top final car to stay out next to Al Reed. That's row number 3. Row number 4 is Mark Morton and Dalton Steele. And rounding out the top 10, Jamie Pyland and Larry Fairman. Let us know who you're rooting for in this chat. Glad you could join us here this evening on the Sly Job Racing Network. Set to come back to green, couple laps shy of the halfway point. Don't know if you look there closely, but the 13 has a damaged rear bumper, and of course, aerodynamics means everything here at Daytona, and that could be, same with the 88, could be affecting how each race car is battling. Is Johnny Hurst goes back out in front with the help from the 52 of Richard Hartman III, and Hartman has a damaged front bumper. That's probably just from a heck of a lot of pushing. I don't believe he has been in a wreck one bit this evening. I believe that just has to do with pushing. As Hartman makes his way up to 2nd. Here comes Rowdy for 3rd spot. As Jolly's dropping like a fly. Remember, he's starting on pole. He's down in 4th. Now the high side starts to fight back. Here comes Jolly with a push from Bradley Worley. Also have Reed and Steele on that second groove. Door to door for fourth, and man, Pylan a little bit feisty in the corner. You saw the car chitter just a bit, but keeps it straight. Every driver that is on track and on the lead lap is in this pack. Now, as I say that, John Lawrence starts to drop to the tail. You see the race that breaks out. Here comes Chris Ramsey in the 4. Very quiet in this race today. He started 15th. He's now made his way up to the 5th spot. But that top 4, they've got a breakaway. Now that Morton goes up to the high side. This does help out the 13 and 4. Pull back up with this lead pack to get that dirty air to help them out. You see there, Morton tries the side draft off of Hartman for P2. Just want to get that high side going. And that's what they're trying to do. You saw the big bump draft that Hartman, the 3rd, gave Hurst down the super stretch. Now Pylan is clear of 3rd. That leaves Morton and Ramsey racing for the 4th position. Morton may be clear as well. Nothing really too notable amongst the drivers that are in the front of this pack. Did see, though, coming back to the green flag, some drivers have a lot of damage. I think one of them was the 30 of James Wagoner, and he is one of them without a front bumper. So it's cost him a lot of time. Believe he's waiting to use a quick repair late in the going to get back on the racetrack. He's in the 18th position. Focus back on up at the front of the field, and now Johnny Hurst controls this race because everyone behind him is side by side. So he can figure out what lane to go. Go low, go high. He decides to stick with the low side, opens up a chance for Chris Ramsey to go to the point, and he's got it in the Jack Daniels ride. Now he cuts down in front of Johnny Hurst. This could help out Mark Morton go to the lead down the back straight possibly in just a bit. We'll wait to see. $190. Oh, there they go. Big wreck breaks out. 22's involved. There's the 64 Paul Helms. That went hard in the wall. We said Gomes was in it. Jimmy Pylan involved. Yellow flag waves on lap 48. Tim Richardson involved. 5th caution flag flies. Let's show you what happened. You saw the wreck had already occurred. Look at another camera shot here. He got on the yellow line and then touched the 64. Took a huge hit. Went from the high to the low side, just like came to a stop there. 96 may have started it all. Don't quote me, though, on that. Gomez lost the hood on that in that accident. Let's go in real time. There it was. Kapow. It's the hardest hit we've seen the night so far. See what our speed shot can show us here. Look at all the debris. I'm pretty sure that's not just debris. That could be chunks of virtual foam. Okay, I think we may have some time for an onboard. Let's ride on board with Riley Gomes. Trying to dodge this one. In the grass he goes. And a beautiful miss merges back on the racetrack. Let's go to Paul Helms. And the wreck was already underway. And he was one that caught a lot of it. Let's go to Paul Helms. Sorry, we're on camera angle. This is the camera angle we wanted. Let's watch it again with Paul. A lot of drivers on pit road. 2 drivers decided to stay out. Mark Morton and Jeff Scott, who pitted on lap number 40. Oh, somebody spun coming in the pits, and I think that's still a legal stop for the 30 car as he was in the box. That's James Wagner. I don't see the jack on the race car. In real life racing, that's a legal stop. So he has to spin that back around. I mean, he was in the back in the first place, so this would just put him back in the back again. Fairman won the race off pit road. Behind him were Johnny Hurst, Riley Gomes, Greg Jolly, Tim Richardson, Bradley Worley, Chris Ramsey, Matt Benke, Dalton Steele, and Paul Helms. Let's step aside and go to break. When we come back, the second half of the race. Stay with us on Slide Job Racing Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
Coming back to the green flag here, Mark Morton and Jeff Scott stay out. That's your front row for this next restart as we're ready to wrap up the 5th caution of the day. Johnny Hurst and Greg Jolly, row number 2. Tim Richardson, Bradley Worley, row 3. Matt Benke and Chris Ramsey, row number 4. Paul Helms and Dalton Steele round out the top 10. Coming to the restart, we'll have 49 laps remaining at the World Center of Racing. There's a stack up further on back, but Barney's got the green in hand. Here we go. Nice restart from Morton, and Scott moves up to second. First guy down low is Hurst in the 58. And the top 2 decide to cut low, leaving Jolly and Hurst to race for 3rd. Now Scott decides to shift up top here for the race lead, then goes back down and cuts in front. And now it's Greg Jolly on the outside. Man, that high side had a lot of steam down the super stretch. He takes the lead. Bradley Worley goes to P2. Well, we're coming to 48 laps to go. I'm going to shut up. It's time to turn up the volume. Let's crank it up here at Daytona. You saw that big checkup on the bottom line there. Everybody keeps this straight, though, luckily. No issues that anybody had to deal with. So thank goodness for that, but it's Mark Morton on the outside. Next to Johnny Hurst for the race lead. Good battle breaking out here at Daytona. Now, everybody pitted except for 2 drivers on lap number 49. So everybody is good to go the distance. Unless we go to overtime, it's not guaranteed. Lowry got to be careful here. Oh, he's stuck in the middle. Look out. Oh, there he goes. You could just see it coming. Version 2 of the big one at Daytona. Come on, man. Not clear. Hartman's in it. Helm's involved. A lot of quick repairs being used. There's Benke that also captured a piece of it. His car's all torn up. Oh, Tim Richardson's junk. That may possibly as well end his night. All right, let's show you what happened here with Al Reed. He tried to go low, then came up on the 29. That's when there was the bumper-to-bumper contact. Tried everything he could to miss it. And then it was just, oh my goodness. I think only 3 people missed that accident. Maybe even 4. I'm pretty sure 4 drivers missed that crash. Let's get you another angle of that in real time. A lot of heavy impacts in that accident. Well, we've got a lot of onboards to watch here. Obviously, a lot of drivers on pit road to get their cars fixed. Let's begin with Rich Hartman. And he got creamed in that accident. There's Al Reed. I'm going to take you on board with him. That car just fishtailing all around. Even lost the rear end of that ride. Completely gone. Let's go to Paul Helms. He was ready to have that miss too. He got tipped for the quarter panel. Just look at the impacts he took. Go Matt Benke. Last but not least, Tim Richardson. Got to give a shout out to iRacing with the new damage model they have. I mean, it's been on the Gen 6 cars for a while. But, oh my goodness. The biggest accident we've had of the day so far. 4 drivers missed the accident and they decided to stay out. Everybody had to come in and use a quick repair everybody else. You know, for some drivers, they have already had at least 3 stops. Some drivers, we have had 2 drivers that have had to make 7 pit stops. Specifically the Gomes brothers. They may be potentially out of tires by now. Riley's coming in again. James Wagner and Paul Helms, they've already come in 5 times. Same with Jimmy Pilan. Chris Ramsey and Larry Fairwind have come in 6 times. Let's pull up the pit strategy here. Give you a nice idea of the top 10. Show you all the pit stops. That's crazy. Alrighty. Coming to green this time by. And a huge, huge change in the leaderboard with that accident. 6th caution of the day. Johnny Hurst, Greg Jolly, row number 1. Bradley Worley, Brianna Laurent, row 2. Matt Benke, Mark Moore in row number 3. Paul Helms, James Wagner, row number 4. And Richard Hartman is 9th. Jeff Scott should be 10th here. We're going to see what happens here as we come to the green flag. Over 40 laps left in this race. There's still a lot of racing remaining in this one here at Daytona to kick off the season. Jump. And the low line has the advantage, and James Wagner decided it was quick repair time. He has moved up to the 4th spot. Morton's trying to pull out a line, see if Wagner wants to go with him. I think they're trying to. Now, who's behind them? Big gap between them and Brianna Laurent. And Laurent nearly kisses the wall. But Mark Morton puts the low Chevrolet back up to the front as we start to work lap number 60. She'll let you know that after that accident, 15 drivers remain on the lead lap. First car is Jimmy Pilan, 3 laps down though. And he is out of the race. Al Reed is in the pits. Dalton Steele out of the race. Matthew Barker out of the race. That's how bad that accident was. Took some good contenders out here. As the front 5 all single file here. As of now, make it the front 6. I think everyone may have learned their lesson. Some guys in the back probably didn't. And we saw Benke for the 2nd time today smack the wall in turn 4. as he hangs on to it in the 13th spot. But it's Morton still remaining out in front. Let's go on board with Hurst. $196 briefly down the super stretch. He got up to 197 again. You know, I wonder as well, it's like being the leader in clean air. What's their top speed? I'll show you. $195, $196. Glitched out for a moment at 203, but hit 197 in the corner for a moment. Big gap now between Chris Ramsey and Larry Fairman. As that is, I'm pretty sure that's all the drivers remaining in this race that you see in the background of your screen. Not a lot of drivers have a chance to win this race now with what we just saw a couple laps ago. I wonder how many drivers are not going to be happy after that situation, especially with the three. Noma's in chat rooting for Laurent. She's in the 9th position. And then Benke, who is in the 10th position, back on board with the 48, the clean air in front of him. Loves that it's in single file and that he's in control of this race. Remember, a lot of drivers pit on either lap 56 or lap 49. If you pit on lap 56, you're good to go with a couple of overtimes. But 6 drivers have pulled away from Jolly and Fairman. And unless a caution flag flies, they'll likely be the 6 drivers that will be racing for this win as of now. Now it starts to double up here. Hurst wants her on the outside. This could just help out Wagner take the 2nd spot, as the higher groove does not have a lot of momentum. But there are more cars behind it. It would have a ton of momentum. But right now, Hurst just doesn't have it. Especially with not having his fellow Mobil 1 driver, Dalton Steele, out of the race. But Hurst, I think he may have led the lap of the line. I don't know, though. So don't quote me on that. But he can clear more in as Worley's moved up to 2nd. Hartman wants 3rd. So there's the 2nd place driver in Bradley Worley. See, he's got Bad Brad on the roof of the race cars. He's just trying to play it safe for right now. "35 laps to go here at Daytona." Now, as we get to the home stretch, let's take a look at, we'll be like Larry Mack here, take a look at some of the trends here of super speedways. Gen 6 racing at super speedways, well known for last lap passes, especially in the final package of super speedway racing that was used from 2019 to 2021. You look at like Ryan Blaney, for example, how many times he did it at Talladega. I mean, Hamlin did it in the final lap of the Daytona 500 in 2020. Michael McDowell, 2021 Daytona 500. In the 400, I can't recall that well off the top of my head. I believe we did have a last lap pass by somebody. Justin Haley, you could count that, but that was obviously has an asterisk on it due to the thunderstorms coming at that point. But it's common in super speedway racing. It's been known for late race yellows and known for going into overtime. That front six again, just staying patient for right now. And there you have a look at him. Johnny Hurst, Bradley Worley, Richard Hartman, Mark Morton, James Raggeter, and Chris Ramsey. You also have a second line that's broken out, led by Paul Helms, and behind him, Riley Gomes, Greg Jolly, Larry Fairman, Matt Benke, Brianna Lauren. That's the second set of 6, so we've got 2 six-packs at the moment, but it still is Johnny Hurst in that Toyota number 58 out in front. Let's go on board for a lap with the 4 of Chris Ramsey ride-in car with him. You know, something I've always wondered in this race, I've kind of been wondering these last few laps, I should say instead. You know, some of these drivers here that race a lot of official, like take maybe a Mark Morton, for example, or a Dalton Steele. They're probably used to racing a next-gen car. So, you know, you've got the 5 gear patterns and the sequential shifter only. Completely different than a Gen 6 with the 4-speed H pattern shifter. And plus different ways to draft. They're probably feels like home for them once again, because the next gen still can be a little bit weird to draft with. I haven't done a bunch of officials on super speedways in a long time. I love doing them. I'm pretty good at them. And it still sometimes feels weird, you know. When you see those next gens, if they want to go single file, they're pretty good at doing it on super speedways on the high side. And it still feels kind of weird at times. So, but now for the leaders, it's just pretty much just a game of patience here in these final few laps. So your biggest movers of the race so far, your leader Johnny Hurst, he's up 13 spots from 14th. Riley Gomes up 10 spots in 8th. Up 9 into 6th is Chris Ramsey. And up 7 and 13th is Ryan Gomes. You know, this is a little bit interesting. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but that gap has kind of started to close down a bit between the second pack. 2.5 seconds between Ramsey and Helms. And you know what? Why don't we take a look at these last 5 laps? Look how much faster that second pack is. It was a big delta. A better idea, folks. It's going down big time. Does it go down again this time? And you can see it slowly coming down, where we could have that second 6-pack come in and make it a race once again. That second pack as well, they were topping out at over 200 miles an hour. This pack here topping just under 200. So that is that's a big factor too. There you see how much it's coming in, but you saw that second line get a little bit separated. They got to stay together if they want a chance at something. While we're at it, we should tell you next week, the SVT Racing League heads to Dover Motor Speedway for 120 laps. You can watch that right here on the Slide Job Racing Network. Again, as the NASCAR season ended today, big congratulations to our top 3 champions. Ryan Blaney winning the Cup Series, Cole Custer in the Xfinity Series, and Ben Rhodes in the Truck Series. Ford sweeps the top 3 series. Leaders start to work some lap traffic. Tim Richardson and Jeff Scott lets the leaders go on the bottom. And, you know, it's kind of crazy to think about is, too, you know, going back to Ryan Blaney, couple weeks ago, we were talking about him as he was in a must-win situation. Of course, I'm going back to Sunday night after Las Vegas. He is called for, he's DQ'd for the shock the next day. Penalty gets rescinded. He's back in the race in points. Then he goes out, wins Martinsville 2 weeks later, and he's in the championship 4. Now we call him a champion, which is still crazy. As someone that before was taking a neutral role in 2020, I was a big Ryan Blaney fan. And so it was pretty cool. More lap traffic approach. That's the 22 of Gomes. And that second train is with the leaders now. Riley Gomes is onto the tail of the number 4 with 25 to go. Folks, we have a race at Daytona. And now he starts to get around the 4 of Ramsey, who probably did not see that coming. He was probably looking forward to a top 6 finish at the end. He did not think that second groove was going to come up there, but now Wagner pulls away from Gomes just a little bit because of this side-by-side racing. Now he pulls in front. Helm still wants to work with him on the high side. Wants to get clear still. If I'm Riley, get down low. But now the second groove created with a 48 in this front 6. All right, this just makes things interesting. More in with Wagner. Up in that 4th position. Could be going for that race lead at any moment. You're on board. Here comes a push. Right there's the push. Up to 3rd. Now wants the 88 of Bradley Worley for 2nd. Caution is out. Matt Benke has gone off the racetrack in turn number 3. And this changes everything. We also had Larry Fairman crash off to turn 4 too after the yellow flew. Well, let's show you what took place here with both drivers. Here's Benke first off. He was in this lead pack. Oh my goodness! What on earth happened? Well, let's give that to you in slow motion. Wow. Unbelievable. Rewind that just a bit, please. So Fairman got put on the apron and merged back up in the 36. See another driver involved. That was the 13 of Jolly. That car looked like a boomerang. Let's show you this in real time. And as Fairman's trying to save it. Pow. In the wall. Well, this is surprising to say. We'll get to the onboards in a moment, but the leaders are in. Everyone was good to go the distance, but the leaders are in the pits. All right, so Hurst wins the race off pit road. Hartman the third, second. Wagner third, Morton fourth, and Riley Gomes fifth. I'm going to keep it here with you. We're right on board with the drivers here. Alrighty. 20-lap shootout with 50 miles remaining here at Daytona. It's still far from over, but we will see what happens here. Hurst and Hartman on the front row. That's row number 1. Wagner and Morton, row number 2. Gomes and Ramsey, row 3. Paul Helms, Bradley Worley, row 4. Rounding out the top 10, Brianna Laurent and Ryan Gomes as we come back to the green flag. As well, again, we'll have 20 laps of racing remaining here at Daytona. Top 2 hold serve in Hartman the third and Morton. So I should say not holding serve was Hurst. So not what the 58 wanted, but Hartman a great jump. He has not led in this race yet tonight, but he has no help from behind until now for the 58. There's the push into turn number 3. Morton looks to put this 48 back out in front with 19 laps remaining. There is the pack of 11. 13 drivers are in this pack. 11 drivers, though, with a chance to win it. We did lose Greg Jolly and Matt Benke from this race. They have DNF'd. Well, not really officially DNF'd, but they are in the pits wanting to watch the final lap of this one. Nice exit off in turn 2 from Morton with a push from Chris Ramsey. And Morton able to clear as you're on board with the 52 of Hartman. Worley with a little higher exit than normal. He's still in the 5th position. $18 laps remain. The run for Wagner. So Ramsey did not get a lot of momentum. The high side starting to lose some steam. Everybody's going to want to be on that bottom groove. But you got to be careful. You're the 30 goes up the track, lets the 23 have a line. You see Larry Fairman just brought the 99 back on the pit road. Morton and Hartman won a race for the lead. They traded shots. One went up, then Hartman tried to cross over, and Morton shut the door. Here's a run from Hurst, back in the 3rd position. Highside's got something back once again, and Morton's able to slam the door. Or Kenny, he has to give the 58 some room because he was breathing on his spoiler. And Hurst goes back to the point. Here's a run as well for the 30 of Wagner for P2. The field's off at turn number 4, 16 laps remain here at the World Center of Racing. And who will take the season opener? That is the question. Oh, man, Ramsey with some contact with Morton. Not the first time that 48's gone toward tonight. And hang on for the 88 of Worley. Just got a little bit sideways. He saves it, though, as we stay green. The high side again, starting to lose some steam with the 88 in that, up in that lead pack. All the way down to 7th, maybe even down to 9th. But he's just getting way too sideways. And Laura to the wall. She saves it. No spin, no caution. But she needs a caution now to get back in this one. As everyone's now gone single file amongst the front 5. Now it's a game of patience here. Obviously a long race left to go. Now the question is, where do you want to be? I don't know if you want to be the leader with the way this package is in the last lap. But, you know, we'll just have to see. So, again, Johnny Hurst, and then number 58. Out in front, who says that he says things that need to be said. All for fun from the Alabama area. In his iRacing official career, he's picked up 31 wins, 19 on asphalt. James Wagner in that 30. Key contender to possibly win this race. Out of the Carolinas, a roughneck racing driver as leaders approach some lap traffic. That's the 13 of Jolly. Got Mark Morton up there in that 3rd position in car number 48. Morton looking to kick some names. Oh no! Ramsey goes around. Gomes is also in it. And same with the 88 of Worley, and we're under caution for the 8th time tonight. Dang it. This will cut the laps down even more. No bumper on the number 4. On the rear side, the front side for the 88. Oh man, yeah, he's got issues. Hopefully he has a quick repair left to get back in the game. Here's a look. So everyone with single file here. And was there contact off the 80? Yeah, he may have even hit the 28 too. And sideways he went. A tough break there. Good looking real time. Right there was actually contact off the 88, which caused that to happen. Let's go on board here with Ramsey. Just following. Oh, you know what? He actually had to check up because of the 28. Pull it off a little bit. That may have been the cause of things here. See, these onboards always matter. There it was, yeah. So that was the situation here. But there are 12 laps remaining at Daytona. Let's step aside and take a break. When we come back, we're going to take you to the finish. Stay with us here on Slide Job Racing Network. You won't want to miss a moment of it.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
We start with fresh, never frozen ground beef, follow it with our homemade meat hot sauce, and finish it with your choice of toppings, always made to order. Our world's greatest cheeseburgers will make you say,
Gimme, 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 feel great.
Hi, my name is Henry, and I want to welcome you to Batavia Downs Gaming. We want you to love it, not just like it here. We went to our customers and asked them what we can do better. You said you wanted a hotel, so we built one. More and better food. We did that too. A separate place to smoke and play? We even did that. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel is the right size with the right people in the right location. Batavia Downs Gaming. Come here to dine, stay, and play.
Alrighty, coming back to the green flag. We'll have 9 laps of racing remaining here at the World Center of Racing. And what is going to happen? I don't know, but it's probably going to get crazy. 11 drivers on the lead lap. There is one driver a lap down, Jeff Scott. He is the free pass driver. in case a yellow were to fly. He can get back in this race. So, mathematically, 12 drivers could get a chance at winning this race on the final lap. We'll just have to see here. 11 drivers currently on the lead lap, as we'll have 9 to go to settle it here at Daytona. Johnny Hurst and James Wagner make up the front row as we get set to come to the green flag. A nice jump from the 58 of Hurst. Morton, nothing he could do on the bottom, and Wagner into second. Hartman finds his way up to third. And Wagner and Hurst both cut down to the bottom. The place everybody wants to be. Hurst up the track he goes, opened up the door for Wagner. I think Hurst may have driven in a little bit too tight entering turn 3, not too sure. But 8 laps of racing remain here. And at the line, it was Hurst. A couple other drivers decide to fall back. Brianna Lauren, Tim Richardson, amongst the leaders that decide to go to the back of the pack and let this race play out. On board with the James Wagner, who has the 58 to his inside. And Hurst has the push from Hartman. Wagner has Morton behind him. There you see how the push looks as they go to turn 3. Oh, the leader's touch! Hurst tried to cut down in front of Wagner, checks the field up. On the apron, the 22 of Ryan Gomes, who saves it. A little bit too close for comfort there, drivers. And now Hartman wants the lead, and he's got Wagner behind him. Advantage to the high side, though. Here comes Chris Ramsey. Just came off the last caution. Same with Bradley Worley. They both used a quick repair and are back in the hunt to try and win this one. Right place, right time, that's for sure. Coming to 6 laps to go at the World Center of Racing. Everybody trying to find as much momentum as they can. Ryan Gomes has fallen to the back. He'll need a caution flag to try and win this one. So 8 drivers right now have a chance to win the season opener for the SVT Gen 6 race cars. Wagner peeks up to the outside. Has Morton behind him, and they've got something brewing. Looking at the outside of Ramsey for P2. But Hurst may be too far out in front, shifts up to the top. This could open up a chance for Ramsey to go for the race lead. 5 fingers in the air with 5 laps to go, and it's 5 cars on the bottom, 3 up on the top shelf. You saw that nice side draft as well. That came from Chris Ramsey. And he pulls himself in front by a bumper for right now. How long will that last, though, is the question. Wagner pulls ahead to second. You see the 23 Riley Gomes is starting to lose the pack as well. 10 miles remain at Daytona in the season opener. Wagner cuts down to the inside. He had a huge slingshot. Big slipstream on Johnny Hurst. Wagner goes to the point. And now Morton moves to second. Hurst falling behind. Same with the 88. And Ramsey's in third, puts the 58 up the racetrack. And they both got sideways. Ramsey, that was like a super speedway type slide job. And now the two go to work together in third and fourth. Morton goes up there, shuts the door, and same with Wagner. Top four all single file. And now this could be a situation where you may have to lay back. Here goes Hurst underneath for third with 3 laps remaining. And the cream is rising to the top here at Daytona. Oh, around goes Worley. Hard to the inside, safe for barrier. Will this be a caution? He's on the racetrack with another group of cars coming. Caution waves. We're headed to overtime. Oh my. It's not over. And so the Hoosier with a heavy crash into the safer barrier. It used to be concrete a couple years ago in that spot that Joey Logano had hit. Here's a look. Right there, a driver's side pancake. And because that group of cars were coming, no question the caution had to wave. Right on board with Worley. But underneath, he caught the apron. That's what got him loose. As the car freaked out with a lack of balance. So now we come into overtime, and we just had to confirm we have 2 attempts maximum of a green-white checkered. So the field's still single file. We're going to assume this is 2 to green. And we did have a free pass driver. Jeff Scott is back on the lead lap. So everybody getting set to go. And let's remind you all the rules of overtime. If we get a caution before the white flag, we'll try one final attempt at the green-white checkered. If we get the white flag, we are going to the checkered flag, no matter what if we have a wreck. So coming to 1 lap before we take the green. We should be good to go to double them up one more time. Alrighty. So we're good to come back racing after our 9th caution. Reset the field here. James Wagner. Been a front runner for most of the race. Same with Mark Morton and same with Johnny Hurst. Chris Ramsey restarting 4th has been in quiet. He's gotten into a lot of traffic and a bunch of incidents, but he is led a couple of laps in this one. He's in 4th. Then you have Richard Hartman in 5th. Paul Helms, who's been very quiet throughout the day, he is in the 6th spot with a chance to win this one. Riley Gomes, last time he was up near the front of the field, he had stayed out under a caution flag. Brianna Laurent also back in the race. She's in 8th. Then you have Ryan Gomes 9th, Tim Richardson in the 10th spot. I would keep an eye out. If there's going to be someone sneaky that you should watch out for, probably would be the Gomes brothers, to see if they can get a run and go for the win. If not, I likely see this coming down to one of the drivers in the top 3. Alrighty, so here we go. Get up on your feet. Get up out your seat. A thrilling finish coming up. 2 laps of racing to go. Time to go back racing. Morton just about got out of line. They're both 2 by 2 into turn 1. Let's see who's got the advantage. Is the 4 a little bit squirrely? 64 has to back out of it. Wagner edging out by a bumper off of 2. Now he's got the edge. Can he shut the door on the 30? Everyone stacking up on the bottom side. Everybody trying to push. Everybody trying to lay off each other. And it's still Morton out in front with Wagner behind. Ramsey, first driver up top in the 4th position. White flag is in the air. 2.5 miles remain at the World Center of Racing. Mark Morton, James Wagner, or the field. Let's see what happens. Top 2 all single file. Ramsey makes his way up to the 3rd position. Hurst and Ramsey still door to door. Now off of turn 2s. Normally when a big wreck happens, is it going to happen right here? We'll see what happens. Down the super stretch. One final time. Hurst with a run to the outside for 2nd. He's got a chance of the lead. They're side by side down the super stretch. Ramsey with a huge run down into turn number 3. The 48 gets sideways. Everybody wrecking further back. One car upside down, but it's Johnny Hurst down in front as they come to the checkered flag. Hurst with Ramsey and Helms behind him. Does Ramsey have a slingshot? He doesn't. Johnny Hurst wins the season opener at the World Center of Racing. That was a heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen. And the Alabama native takes it. Ramsey a nice 2nd place finish, and Paul Helms with a quiet 3rd. But a nice run by the top 3. Again, we did have a big wreck breakout in the back of the pack. Before we show you the results, let's take a look in real time and show you what happened there. We had Richardson and Fairman get together, and it was the 2 car that got on its lid. Took 100 laps, and now we have a car upside down. And the 48 somehow was sideways, and the entirety of 3 and 4 was able to save it. And Johnny Hurst comes away with the win. Top 3, we'll get a nice photo, and then we will have the burnouts take place. So here's a look at your results from tonight. We had 4 drivers up at least 10 spots, 3 of them up 13. Hurst, Ramsey, and Ryan Gomes were up 13. Riley Gomes was up 12. Nice job by those men. Then here's a look at 11th through 20th. Brianna Laurent, the last car to finish on the lead lap. A couple of other drivers with some tough breaks throughout the going. And so we'll see if we can find your top three. We will try to bring them in here for you. I don't believe we have anybody with us. Let me see if I can. I don't think I'll be able to say something. Oh, hang on. We got Hurst. We'll move him in here to post-race waiting room. And then Chris Helms in the waiting room. Or Paul Helms, excuse me. We don't have Chris, I don't believe. So with that, we'll get right into interviews. We'll begin with our third place finisher in Paul Helms in the number 64. Palm, a quiet run for you in this race. Just walk us through your strategy throughout the entire 100 laps.
Oh, it was really just keep it clean as I could and just kind of hold it steady where I could and make my moves where I could. Had a lot of guys out there helping me out and trying to help out as many of them as I could as well.
What was your game plan going into that overtime?
I was kind of regretting not taking tires, but then again, it worked out pretty good. I didn't see nobody else go, so I felt like I made the right call on that.
Alrighty, well, hey, it was a good run for you, a great finish. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Oh, definitely give a shout out to the guys at SVT, Johnny Hurst and all them guys, all the admins over there, all the other drivers in the league too. I mean, everybody practices and races as hard as they can and pushes each other to be the better racers that they can.
Alrighty, well,
Also want to throw in there Protects all for supporting us and everybody else who's done all the behind the scenes stuff.
Awesome. Well, we will let you go. Great run, and we will see you hopefully next week at Dover.
All right.
That's Paul Helms, our third place finisher. Let's go to Victory Lane and talk with your winner here in Johnny Hurst in the number 58. Man, what a race it was. You were a dominant race car. Walk us through your strategy going into overtime.
Man, it was hard when you started on the first there, trying to get these restarts. That bottom just would not go. And I kind of know that I was in a disadvantage there, but that last restart, I lined up third, and I wasn't going to leave Dougie. I was getting ready just to push the crap out of him, and I didn't want to leave him, but man, when we hit that backstretch, I just timed it just perfect. Kind of dove out from him and knew I had to run, and I knew I had to block Chris Ramsey there, and it just worked out for the best. Honestly, it just all happened so kind of quick. I think I kind of touched Dougie in the right rear getting around him, but I think he kind of dove out the same time I did. So I hope he didn't finish too far back. But man, that was just a good finish. Felt good to win that one.
Did you expect a big run though coming from Chris coming to the checkered flag, and were you surprised that he wasn't able to make a slingshot?
Yeah, I don't know how I seen the run coming, and I knew when I dove out I'd have to work my way around Dougie, and I'd have to block him at the same time, but I have no idea. He kind of stalled out. So I don't know if somebody kind of side drafted his side, right rear, left rear, something kind of slowed him down. But man, it helped me though. So.
Well, next week we go to Dover. Give us an idea of how you feel going into next week.
These cars in Dover is a pretty good race. You kind of rely on other guys here in the draft and stuff. So next week, some guys should be able to spread out. I'd say you're going to see a lot different guys up front too. Should be a nice tight race. Feel good about it. Always run good at Dover, so we'll just have to see.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
I'd like to thank Protects All. I would like to thank Dirty South Motorsports, Whirly Racing. I'd like to thank the Roughneck guys. I'd like to thank Wagner's Welding, and I'd like to just thank all the people in the league. We've got a super group of guys and girls racing with us. So, and I'd also like to thank Slide Job Racing Network for coming aboard this season, and looking forward to the future with you.
We'll let you go, man. Great job tonight, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's your race winner tonight in Johnny Hurst. We do have Chris Ramsey with us, and we'll talk with him right now. Chris, what a recovery, man, to make your way from a couple of spins throughout the night and to finish in second. How were you able to recover from that with the quick repairs?
First off, just thank all the sponsors for the race first. Thank all the admins, everybody who puts a race on every week. I appreciate all the hard work that they do. Just as for the race, it was just about being patient. You had to find your spots where you wanted to go, where you didn't want to go. Sometimes I would just lay back a little bit and let everybody go, knowing that the wrecks were probably going to come, and then just trying to stay out of them throughout the race.
Absolutely. When you spun out going into, I believe it was going into overtime, I think it was, if not it was the second accident. Did you think you had a chance to recover, go up to the lead? I mean, we saw a lot of cars get taken out after the big one, so it looked like there was possibly something as long as he had a quick repair.
Yeah, that was the good thing about it, is that I did save my quick repair as much as I possibly could. There was a couple times where I had some racing incidents where I had some small repairs. I went ahead and stayed in a little bit longer into the pits just to get those fixed a couple of times. So I was able to save those, and I was also able to save some tires at the end of the race as well. I came in with 19 laps to go, and I had one set of tires left as well. So I was able to put those on too.
What more did you need, though, coming off turn 4, trying to beat Hurst at the end?
I mean, I didn't think I had anything left. I think I needed a little bit more momentum to stay behind him. I never got any momentum, or I would have tried to make the pass at the very end. But I wasn't really moving. I was just staying right with pace. So Johnny ran a great race tonight, as always, and congratulations to the winner.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll let you go. Great run tonight. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Chris Ramsey is your winner tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, is finishing second tonight. Sorry, we usually save the winner interviews for last, but we went out of order this time, so force of habit there. Bear with me. So that will do it for us. Don't forget, tomorrow, make sure you catch Slide Job Racing Network for live coverage of Monday Night Madness with our 360 sprint cars featuring the Rebels and the Renegades on the Coast to Coast Racing League. And then also, don't forget, next Sunday, we are back here at 7 o'clock for coverage of SVT Racing Gen 6s at Dover. So that'll do it for us. Special thanks to everyone at SVT Racing League and all the fine drivers and sponsors. Until then, I'm Marty Sakala saying so long. Johnny Hurst, congratulations to him. He's your winner in the season opener at Daytona. So long.